bag was turned into us. We have possession of the bag.
Yes, sir.
We have evidence that said it came out of your storage room. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
The man in the clip you just watched is Matthew Boynton. The relationship between him and Jessica Lester was full of red flags from the beginning. Even though very few people outside of their relationship could see them, Jessica had been abandoned by her parents as a small child, and therefore had a bad habit of falling into relationships with people that weren't exactly looking out for her. Matthew Boynton was handsome and popular, and Jessica was shocked he wanted anything to do with her. He used this to his advantage in devastating ways, as we'll see later in the interrogation. When she became pregnant at 16, the two of them moved in together, and Boynton began to cut her off from her family. The basis for this was that she wasn't related to them by blood, but the real sinister motivations were lurking just below the surface.
Alright, Matthew, I'm just going to start off by letting you know that I am not conducting an internal investigation on you, okay? So Gary is not implied. Okay, I want you to understand that, alright?
Okay.
Alright, Gary does not apply to this incident, okay? She's gonna read you Miranda.
Okay.
Right off the bat, we gain a little bit of understanding about what's going on here. The three people walk into the room quite casually, as though they know each other. We of course know that this is true. These two men are employees of the same police department that Matthew Boynton worked within. He's being interviewed by two people that know him, and therefore they're doing their best to act casual, so as to not put him on the defensive. Matthew and Jessica's marriage was marred by Matthew's aggressive behavior, which escalated to physical violence, and led to multiple calls to law enforcement. Despite the numerous domestic violence reports, Matthew's position as a police officer seemingly shielded him from accountability. These other officers know, therefore, that any sort of accusative action would immediately make Matthew clam up. And because he's an officer, he knows his rights.
So, I just want to let you know that I'm not conducting, I know I do IAs, but this is not an IA, this is in reference to a criminal investigation, okay?
Okay.
The detective starts out by assuring Boynton that an internal investigation is not being started against him, which is unfortunately quite unethical. Given Boynton's status as the sheriff's grandson, however, it's not that surprising. Even though several calls have been made about him to that self-same police department, nothing had ever stuck, likely due to a mix of insufficient evidence and nepotism.
Alright. Well, this is a Miranda waiver for read everybody before we talk to him. It's just got today's date as 7/27 to 17. The time was 17:22. We're in CID. Your name is Matthew Boynton. You're age 21. You completed the 12th grade school, and that you know that myself, Kay Yancey, and Jay Hayes are officers with the Griffin Police Department, and we're going to advise you that you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that? Anything I say can be used against me in a court of law. Do you understand that? I have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with me while I'm being questioned. Do you understand that? If I cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent me before any question if I wish. Do you understand that? I can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand that?
A police officer being read their Miranda rights is always an interesting thing, because you can really start to decipher their character. This is something that has been drilled into their heads 1,000 times, and they know them inside and out. A smart police officer, therefore, would make use of their rights and immediately ask to have a lawyer present, regardless of whether or not they're guilty. Having someone there to mediate, as well as to filter your thoughts through, will always be a wise decision, to the point that being questioned without one is almost ludicrous for an officer of the law.
If you want to talk to us, just sign right there.
This is a small tidbit that not many may have caught, but it's interesting nonetheless. Rather than take the pen offered to him, Matthew instead pulled his own pen from his shirt and signed with that. There are two things that this could mean. It either means he wants to show power and control over the other officer, or it means that he's so nervous that he's taking precautions that don't make much sense, such as electing not to use someone else's pen.
So Jessica came in, she filed a report. Do you know anything about where her clothes or retainer might have been? Like I told her before, the only thing that we might have had would have been in that white trailer, and my stepdad has not mentioned anything else being in there.
When asked about Jessica's computer and other belongings, Boynton claims that he doesn't know where they could be and that he doesn't have them. The interviewing detective knows this is a lie because the bag has already been turned into the police department by Boynton's current girlfriend. He and Jessica, of course, had split up after this incident, and he'd started dating someone new a few months after that separation. Jessica's health deteriorated during their marriage, and she attempted to gain some semblance of control back by having an affair. This ended in a pregnancy, but once they'd worked things out, Boynton said he would take care of the child like it was his own. Several months later, however, Boynton would begin having an affair himself. Boynton had exhibited violent behaviors before, as mentioned, which made the tragedy that happened next not all that surprising. He called in one night that Jessica had texted him exhibiting suicidal thoughts, and wanted an officer sent to his house because he wasn't there at the time.
Can you please dispatch a unit out to my location? Send me a reference to my wife. I left the location. I'm backing around on Carver Road now. I'll be back there in about 2 minutes. She's having suicidal thoughts. My kids are at home with her, so I'm trying to hurry up and get back there. I'm driving. She just said that she's been experiencing suicidal thoughts right now. She told me to take care of the boys. So I'm trying to hurry up and get back home just to make sure that nothing's going to happen to them. Any weapons inside the house? Just my service weapons.
Following this, Jessica ended up in the hospital with a gunshot wound to the head. While the police investigation concluded it was self-inflicted, there were inconsistencies and allegations that raised doubts about the official findings. Matthew's attempts to manipulate the narrative and his seemingly emotionless demeanor led to suspicion. Furthermore, the discovery of the bag containing Jessica's clothes, along with her other disturbing behaviors, added to the concerns about his intentions and actions.
You recognize that bag?
Yes, that bag that Jessica let me use to put all my gym stuff in when we used to be together.
Okay, so when's the last time you saw that bag?
It's been a long time. Like I said, when I used to work out at, there's 2 gyms in Thomaston. I don't remember the name of it. I used that one, and I had a gray Nike bag I used to work out in.
This is where the officer finally reveals that they know about the bag. But they don't reveal everything that they know yet. They still want to catch Matthew confessing to lying about owning that bag, and purposefully not returning her things. After Jessica's shooting incident, she had left some of her belongings, including a gym bag with women's clothes, at the apartment she had shared with Matthew. When Jessica's friend and now girlfriend of Matthew, Shelby Willie, discovered the bag during a moving process, she became suspicious and confronted Matthew about it. Initially, Matthew told Shelby that he intended to burn the bag, claiming Jessica had packed it one night when she planned to leave him. These events piqued Shelby's curiosity, especially since she had seen a copy of Matthew's sworn statement containing discrepancies. Doubts grew as Matthew's behavior seemed more evasive and suspicious. Feeling disturbed by the situation, Shelby reached out to a local truck driver and freelance investigator, Will Sanders, to share her concerns about Matthew's behavior and inconsistencies regarding Jessica's shooting. Sanders saw the potential significance of Jessica's bag of belongings and offered Shelby a sum of money to retrieve it from Matthew's apartment. When Shelby successfully obtained the bag, its contents raised even more questions about the official investigation's findings.
All right, Matthew. Look, let me see the photo. Known you a long time.
Yes, sir.
This bag, you saw it moving when you moved from your apartment to the main road.
I didn't know.
And your stepdad and Wendell saw it. And another female saw it. Alright?
Okay.
At the house and the apartments. Yes or no?
This is perhaps the most critical moment, or the focal point of this interview. It's when the officer finally begins to reveal what they know, which they hope will get Matthew to start revealing what he knows. They also play off a sort of cop duo mechanic, like good cop, bad cop. In this instance, however, it's more like normal cop and no-nonsense cop, which seems to be a mechanic that works well with officers like these. Research on domestic violence among police officers is limited, but available studies have raised concerns about the prevalence of this issue within law enforcement. A 1991 study conducted by the National Center for Women in Policing found that 40% of police officer families experience domestic violence. which is significantly higher than the general population's average. A 2013 study published in the Journal of Family Violence reported that the rate of domestic violence perpetration among police officers was about 15.3%, while the rate among the general population was 7.7%. One reason behind the higher rates of domestic violence within law enforcement could be the code of silence or blue wall of silence culture that discourages officers from reporting misconduct or crimes committed by their fellow officers. This silence can extend to officers' personal lives, enabling abusive behavior to go unchecked. The power dynamics within police families, combined with the reluctance of fellow officers to intervene, can create an environment where abuse is less likely to be reported and addressed. This was precisely what was seen between these officers and Matthew when they were called to his house several times for domestic violence disputes. He never faced ramifications for those, and is only now having to answer for his actions because the abuse went so far as for Jessica to be shot.
When I moved, like I said, I had all my stuff in the white trailer.
Matthew, that's not what I'm asking you. When y'all were in the process of moving, and you moved into the house that you're at now, your residence, did you or did you not see this bag?
Yes, sir. It was in my storage room in the garage.
All right. Now, why would I be holding a picture of this bag?
I guess because Jessica brought it into you.
Why would Jessica have it if you had it at your house?
I don't know. I guess somebody got it from my garage and my shed.
Who would have got it?
There's a couple of people.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
We see here that the officer is taking a fairly aggressive approach. He's cutting Matthew off and making demands, which is usually a big no-go in interviews, especially with police officers. They tend to be very proud and stubborn people who would shut down at this sort of treatment rather than open up. In this situation specifically, however, things seem to be different. Matthew is only 21 years old. And given that he's the sheriff's grandson, it's safe to say that some of these officers have probably known him his entire life. With this case being so in-house, so to speak, there is a lot of power that they have over him that they wouldn't otherwise.
There were numerous contents inside of it. And one of those is this right here. You know what this is?
It's like Jessica's old retainer thing that she had them wear together.
Right. The bag was completely filled with female clothes. And this is one photo of it. That's not yours.
No, not.
All right. The officer continues to give away information regarding what they know, which some would argue is a mistake. With how intimately this officer seems to know Matthew, however, it's very likely that he understands exactly what needs to be done to make him talk. Some people need to be scared into talking, while others need to be subtly tricked into it. Interrogation is an art that is hard to master, but this officer seems to be doing an excellent job.
So why would you not have brought that to us when you saw the bag at moving?
Sarge, I promise I've not been through that bag. The last time I used that bag was for the
I
gym.
didn't ask you that, Matthew. Listen to me, buddy. Whose bag is this?
I understand what you're saying. It's Jessica's, and I should have brought it up here.
The officers finally ask the question they've been trying to get to. They ask why he didn't bring the bag to the police station, or to Jessica, when he found it during their move. In most interviews, the interrogator wouldn't dream of asking the question directly, because that would be a surefire way to ensure that the person being interrogated never answered it. In this case, however, because the officer has known Boynton since he was a child, he can use the question in a way that almost shames him. It's truly interesting to see how thoroughly it makes the man squirm in his seat.
So I used it as a gym bag, and she let me use it. I understand what you're saying.
Police officer.
Yes, sir. I understand.
You're a police officer, Matthew. You know we are held to a higher standard than anybody else.
I understand.
You know, people don't expect us to make mistakes, and they don't realize we're human. I understand that. You understand that. You work out a lot, don't you? You stay in shape. You're in good shape, right?
Try to.
You have 2 bags. Did you swap your stuff in between, right?
Yeah, I don't have the other one anymore.
This would have been your only gym bag. So how would you not know the contents of the bag? It just was your gym bag, man.
I have no excuse.
This is, in some ways, the moment in which Matthew breaks. Rather than coming up with a logical lie or some other reason that he wouldn't know what was in the bag, he simply claims, "I have no excuse." This is a peculiar thing to say because in many ways it straight up admits that he knew exactly what was in the bag, without having to be the one to say it. It's strange for him to let go of his story so easily. He claimed for nearly 15 minutes now that he had no idea what was in the bag. It's pretty clear from the length of time seen here that this was an orchestrated move. They wanted to leave Matthew alone for a good while so that he could sit and think about things, and about the guilt that was very clearly eating him up. It's been exposed so far that he is not a good liar, and therefore giving him time to sit and stew in his own stupidity is very likely key to getting him to open up to more serious charges.
I'm walking around outside. Why would you say you didn't have the damn bag when you had it? You know you can't give a sworn statement and lie on it. Why would you do that, Matthew? It was a bag, man. It wasn't. It's not like it was. Talk to me, man. I mean, help me understand.
Sergeant, I swear to God, I know it's hard to believe, but I didn't think about that bag. Otherwise, I wouldn't have I said, hold on, little T. I got something. Let me go get it. I swear I wouldn't have done that because I've got 2 kids, 3 and 1. I wouldn't jeopardize that over a bag.
This is a further escalation into the no-nonsense or friendly cop act from before, with the officer coming back after thinking over the case for a little while. The truth of the matter is that he likely knew exactly what to think, and only left him in there to stew by himself in the hopes that he'd get a more surprised answer out of him. We also see Matthew taking off parts of his uniform, like his jacket, his cuffs, his badge, etc. This is a textbook sign of guilt, often seen as giving up what they believed they had disgraced, in the hopes that it would be all that was taken from them.
Because I was thinking then. Did you think he was going to get in trouble if you turned it in late?
I guess. I don't know what I was going through.
What do you think should happen now?
I know that's probably going to happen.
No, that's not what I asked you. So what do you think should happen?
Where's my kids, man? My kids are daddy's boys, man.
Boynton continues to bring up his kids throughout this entire interview, which is very likely genuine. He does care for his kids, but in a way it seems more that he's trying to use them as an excuse rather than being genuinely concerned for them. What we do know, however, is that he does care for them in a sort of sick way, enough to attempt murder in order to steal custody from their mother.
Everything happens for a reason.
At this point in the interview, there's a bit of tension release as the interrogating officer sort of comforts Boynton. This makes sense, as aforementioned, this officer has known Boynton for a very long time, and probably feels on some level responsible for him. He doesn't want him going through this, and probably thinks of it as some stupid accident. And this was the end of this interview, because at this point in time, the only issue at hand was the stupid choice not to return this bag. That choice, however, would spiral down the line into Matthew Boynton being put in front of a judge. And even further down the line, it would be discovered that his wife's accident hadn't been a suicide, it had been him. The story underscores the urgent need for comprehensive reforms in both the way domestic violence is addressed within law enforcement and the broader societal understanding of coercive control dynamics. The failure of systems meant to protect and support Jessica demonstrates the systemic biases that can perpetuate cycles of abuse and injustice. It also highlights the importance of amplifying the voices of survivors and advocating for trauma-informed approaches that empower victims, hold abusers accountable, and challenge the entrenched norms that enable abuse. Ultimately, Jessica's resilience in seeking justice and rebuilding her life, as well as the efforts of individuals like Will Sanders, who refuse to remain silent, serve as a testament to the strength and determination required to overcome a deeply flawed system and bring attention to the urgent need for change.
FBI agents are some of the most respected individuals in the world of law enforcement, meaning people will do everything they can to impersonate them and steal their honor.
Yeah, and I said, sir, I am a federal officer of the law. I'm undercover. I've been undercover for 43 years. all the way up to the UN.
This man was detained by officers after they identified him as the perpetrator in a reported hit and run earlier that day, but he didn't plan on going down without a struggle.
Sir, who did I hit and run, sir? I'll give you this, Mr. Harris. There's no hit and run, sir. Yes, there is. No, there's not. I didn't hit and run nobody. Where? Where did I hit and run them? No, you can't just do that. I know I'm being detained, but I'm asking you why first. I will. Then I'm not doing nothing with, sir. I'm a federal officer. Here, I got my ID and everything in the fucking. I'll blow it. I'll check it. Hey, relax. Tell me I'm a hit and run. I didn't hit and run nobody. Relax.
The officer doesn't let a man's comment about being a federal officer deter him, as it's very clearly untrue. The man's agitated state and intense aggression towards the officers are clear signs of him either being under the influence or being in a troubled mental state. Either way, the officer has already provided his reasoning for detaining the man, so the man's insistence that they tell him why he's being placed in handcuffs is frankly unwarranted and strange. After struggling for a bit longer to get him in the car, he reveals more information about his supposed career in law enforcement.
Hello, sir. How you doing? Hey, how are you? Good. Can I speak to you, please? Sure. All right. This guy here, sir, I was driving over here. I was going to turn in here to put gas, and then I was going to stop and assess the damage on my vehicle. Okay? So I get here, and then he comes up running at me, screaming, grabs my wallet, throws it down, and I said, sir, I am a federal officer of the law. I'm undercover.
If this man is under the influence of some sort of drug such as meth or cocaine, then these claims of people harassing and stalking him could likely be hallucinations or delusions caused by them. Based on the physical condition he seems to be in and the lack of evidence backing up these claims, the officers know that they need to approach this situation very carefully, as the man doesn't seem to be in a stable place mentally. But for some reason, the man still seems to think he has the upper hand in this situation, though he'll soon come to realize that that is certainly not the case.
Truck, sir. No, inside the truck.
Nothing.
On the seat.
Oh, man.
I'll roll down both windows for you, okay? You work with me, I'll work with you. Sound good?
I need something to drink,
All right,
sir.
sounds great. You know what?
I'm a diabetic.
I'm going to get you some water, but
I've
you
been
got
taking my
to give me
medication.
some time. The longer time I spend here sitting talking to you, the longer it's going to take for me to get you water, right?
But that's why I asked you, sir. Why did he run up on me like that?
I don't know. I got to look into everything. Okay, let me get some water. You sit
Please,
down.
yeah, that's what I
I'm going to roll
need.
down both windows, and I got to look into your car. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You work with me, I work with you. Good?
I'll sit right here. Just let me.
Sounds great.
I'll just sit right here.
Watch your foot.
Oh.
Okay, we'll roll down the windows.
Oh, come on.
The way the man's attitude shifts throughout this encounter could be due to him being bipolar. The fact that he started out suddenly fighting against the original officer, only to become relaxed and even apologetic for his prior aggression in a matter of seconds, is majorly concerning from a psychiatric standpoint. Now that he's back in the car, he's going to slowly realize that these officers don't believe a single thing he's saying.
I don't know what you're talking about. And it got a little heated, and finally I said I'm going to blow my undercover status. I'm Richard Nicholas Jacob Madrid, and I'm undercover. I've been working undercover for the UN. I just turned an investigation in for 43 years into the organizational side, a hierarchy side, which my family is very involved in, and it's dangerous for me here. And I've been targeted, me and my wife and my daughter. My wife her name is Park Min-soo, and she's South Korean, and her family is the South Korean family that was executed wrongfully here in the United States. 74 of them were killed. After President Trump released them, I patched through with him on a Spade network.
We already established that
there was an accident.
There was an accident with
right.
you this afternoon.
And this afternoon,
yeah,
when I was parked at the light, they turned green. I proceeded to go through the light, and there was boom. He hit me at the front, scraped the whole side of my front, just at his wheel.
It's hard to know what you can believe with this man and what you can't. His inability to keep his story straight tells us that there's definitely something he's not being truthful about here. He thinks he can lie his way out of trouble today, but that's not going to happen, as these officers know better than to believe his outlandish lies.
That's Frankie. His last name is Coates. He's the one that his ex-wife is now married to me. What are you doing here? I'm checking because this was the car that hit my parents' car. Oh, what's your name? Juan. This guy's saying your name is Frankie. Cool. This guy? This guy, yeah. Never met him. Cool. No, I was just, my parents, they didn't know what type of vehicle it was or anything. And I was speaking with the other DOT guy, and actually we're back here right now. My son, he's actually the one that saw it. He's like, that looks like the car that hit. It's all wrecked up. And then I saw the DOT, so I thought, so when it
guys say anything with your parents? I didn't. Oh, wait for it.
Considering this man has the audacity to try and drag someone else into his lie, calling him Frankie and claiming that he's his wife's ex-husband, it's safe to say that everything he's said up until this point is most likely completely false. Though the officers weren't completely sure if he was being truthful beforehand, they now know that this man is deceitful and not of sound mind. After getting more information from both the detained man and the other party involved, they decide to arrest the man, which he really isn't happy about.
You're under arrest. You're not being detained anymore.
Okay, I didn't run from a scene of a crime. Okay. I didn't commit a crime. I did follow the protocol, sir. Okay.
This one's cold, so
I made
back.
sure that they were not injured, and I made sure they weren't going to call police. I offered my information, insurance, registration, everything. Okay. And they said no, they didn't need it.
They said they didn't need it? Because that's not what they said. They said they needed that information you took off.
Okay, I said if you need anything, I'll exchange my information. It's on record. I mean, it's on recording. And they said okay. And I said, all right, well, if you need anything else, just let me know. And they said no.
Rather than tell the truth, he continues to add to this incohesive story of his. While the officers are lucky that he's physically complying, they're clearly frustrated with his inability to tell the truth. They would later find out why he was acting so strange. A drug test revealed that he was heavily impaired at the time, meaning they were able to charge him with both a DWI and leaving the scene of an accident. And due to being under the influence, he was most likely unable to comprehend the magnitude of what was happening during the arrest. While this perpetrator was adamant about being a federal officer, this next man doesn't claim to be an FBI agent once, but for some reason, the entire internet was under the impression that he was not only claiming to be a federal agent, but that it was all lies to get him out of this arrest.
You're racial profiling, am I? Yeah, you're wrong. You're assuming I'm someone that I'm not. Are you Jake? No, I'm not Jake. You look like Jake. There you go. I look like Jake. Yeah, you're Jake. No, yes, you are. No, I'm opposite. You're Jake. Okay. Get out of my face, man. You guys are harassing me. Yes, you guys are. Hey, you're fucking harassing me. Yes, you are. No. He's harassing me. Why are you harassing me? You're assuming I'm someone I'm not. Okay, if you're not, then... No. You're not free to go, okay? Am I being detained? Yeah, you are. For what? Because I think you have more. You think? Yeah. That's an illusion. That's an illusion. You think. All right. Stand up for your hands. I'm not. For what? I don't have a warrant. You're very wrong. Okay, am I wrong or wrong? No, you are wrong. What do you mean if you're wrong? You're wrong. You're wrong. We're not going to play this game. Hold on.
The man claims that they're racially profiling him. He thinks the cops are suspecting him of being the criminal they're searching for solely because of his skin color. Whether or not that's true, the officers shouldn't be arresting him without checking his ID first, which he is completely willing to show them. The fact that they're trying to place him in handcuffs without just quickly checking his ID to make sure he's really who they're looking for is odd police work and will certainly end in a lawsuit if they don't fix this soon. But in just a few moments, they'll find out just how big of a mistake they've really made.
Listen, I'm not under arrest. I don't have a warrant. I don't have any officers. Hey, yo. Hey, officer. No. Matter of fact, look at my ID.
You got the wrong guy, I'm telling you.
Look at my ID, motherfucker.
You guys still got the wrong guy. You guys are fucking stupid.
That's not you.
You guys are racial profile thinking I'm somebody.
I got him, bro.
Motherfuckers. Take them cuffs off.
Sir.
I got him.
Take them cuffs off. I'll take both of you motherfuckers right now.
This guy got the cleanest record, y'all just...
I'll take both of you motherfuckers right now. Take the cuffs off.
It's hard to fully understand the actions of the officers here, as they're pretty certain they've found their perpetrator. However, they're definitely jumping the gun here by getting aggressive with the man and detaining him. In their minds, corrupt and racist or not, they think this is a criminal who is a danger to the public. As complicated as this is at this point, the situation is about to do an entire 180.
My ID's in my back pocket. Watch how funny this is. Go ahead,
Watch this.
No, don't. Hey, look at it. Oh, what does that say?
Fucked up.
What does that say? Oh.
Wrong guy.
Oh.
Wrong guy.
Oh my God. No, get the fuck off me, dude. Get off me, dude.
Bro, you fucked up.
Matter of fact, I need our cars. I need your supervisor over here. Call your supervisor. Call your supervisor. Call your supervisor over here. You guys are the stupidest motherfuckers I ever met in my life. How'd you guys... What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Look at him. Get him. The tough guy. And this guy here.
What do you mean I look like him. I need your guys right here.
Though the officers immediately backpedal and take the handcuffs off of the man, the damage has already been done for the most part. This isn't a situation that will result in a lawsuit or either of them losing their jobs, but they'll definitely receive a slap on the wrist for their mistake. Once their supervisor shows up, the man gets all of their information and tells them that he's going to be filing a report against each of them. But when the supervisor tries to justify their actions, the man quickly shuts him down.
Yeah? Oh my God, what is American game?
We're allowed to.
You're allowed to.
Allowed to what? Come up and talk to somebody. And it wasn't allowed to talk to somebody. You arrested him.
Assume I'm someone and try to.
Right, and he made a mistake, and then once he figured out who you were, he unhandcuffed him. What if somebody did that to you? Going to jail. What if somebody did that to you?
I was going to jail anyways.
Huh?
I was going to jail anyways.
You got life fucked up. You ain't gonna just buckle up and just
leave. Let's get out of here. You guys leave. Leave. You guys get the fuck out of here. Good night. No, you guys have a good night. Get the fuck out of here.
Protocol would suggest that the officers vacate the premises at this time, as they're escalating the tension by sticking around and defending themselves to these two justifiably angry men. But rather than de-escalate the situation, they decide to continue this back and forth, and the man is sick of their excuses.
Stupid, one bit. So you guys can make a mistake and kill someone and be like, oh, well,
I don't see anybody that got shot.
How do you know? This guy turned out somebody got killed or no?
Nobody did.
Somebody could have done.
Nobody did.
Oh, so until it happens, that's when you guys try to take some responsibility.
Nobody got hurt. Nobody's going to jail.
Motherfuckers, piece of shit ass cops.
The group of men make the smart choice of leaving the situation, still baffled by what just happened. No investigation was opened against the officers, which makes sense considering they let him go right after they found out he wasn't the perpetrator. No other information has been publicly revealed about this situation. The internet then proceeded to start a rumor that the man was an undercover FBI agent, but that has since proven to be a false claim created by people on social media. But what happens when someone tries to lie about being a U.S. Marshal in front of a real U.S. Marshal? Deputies in Florida arrested 52-year-old Derry Lambert for impersonating a U.S. Marshal by wearing a similar uniform and putting a fake police siren on top of his pickup truck. While talking to Lambert, the officer starts to realize that something's seriously off about the situation.
I'm looking for something to verify that you're a U.S. Marshal, all right? Like the voicemails, I left him a message.
Okay. All right. Yeah, just hang tight with me.
I got to get back to shift in about 2 hours, so.
Where's shift at? Where's shift
I got to get my car.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, hopefully we can get this resolved really quickly. All right, thanks.
Lambert's showing similar signs to the man from the first case, as he carries his delusions with confidence and looks down at his wrist like he has a watch on, even though he doesn't. After hearing more from Lambert and realizing he's not telling the truth, the officers decide that they need to quickly detain him while assessing the situation further. Because of this, the situation suddenly becomes a lot more tense, especially when they start to question him on his career as a U.S. Marshal.
And who do you work for? Who are you employed by?
United States Marshal Service.
U.S. Marshal Service. Okay. You told me that you don't have your credentials with you, but they're in your...
Yeah, my Charger.
In your Charger. A work vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the Charger registered to?
It's registered to the Marshal Service.
Marshals. Okay.
That's my personal vehicle.
So why would the Marshals outfit your personal vehicle with lights and sirens?
In Texas, it's not like here.
Okay.
You don't have cars like this.
We have a Florida tag.
I know.
Lambert is showing some signs of being under the influence, as his dazed expression and slightly slurred speech are both indications of inebriation. That would explain his struggle with providing them with a clear and concise answer. Soon after this, they brought a U.S. Marshal liaison to question Lambert about his claims, and this is when his story completely falls apart.
Well, here's my credentials. I am actually a Special Deputy U.S. Marshal.
Yeah.
Here are my credentials.
Yeah. Mine are in my car.
These, your credentials like this are in there.
I have one just identically to that.
Okay. I would say probably not. Because I'm asking you very easy questions to be able to identify yourself, and you're not. Who's your supervisor out of Texas?
My supervisor?
Yes, sir, your direct supervisor.
Jim Willis.
Once again, this is a man who cannot fully comprehend what is going on here due to him not being fully aware of the situation in front of him, whether that be due to him being under the influence or being not of sound mind. Lambert was taken in and received a long list of charges. While being placed in Marion County Jail, diazepam pills were found in his pockets, suggesting that he was under the influence. Luckily, Lambert didn't arm himself with a weapon, as that could have turned a bad situation into an absolutely terrible situation, like it did for the perpetrator in this next case.
So, you're an actual Cleveland police officer?
No, I'm not with Cleveland PD. I work for Cleveland Watchmen. We're a security company that hires only off-duty police officers to do traffic control.
Are you an off-duty police officer?
Yeah.
So, who are you with?
Pickway Sheriff's Office.
Pickway?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're out of Ohio, and you're here working in Franklin County in Whitehall as an off-duty police officer.
No, I'm working as a security guard. So we do.
No, your uniform marked as a police officer. You're working as a police officer right now with a car that has red and blue lights on it.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got some paperwork I can give to you from.
Absolutely, and I'll need to get your information. I've been asked to come up here by my deputy chief and get that.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
The Cleveland Watchmen is a real organization that does exactly what he said. They hire off-duty police officers to act as extra security for the roads. Many people have cited this company as an issue, as it's a group of officers pretending to be working when they're really off-duty. But this man isn't a police officer. He does work for the Cleveland Watchmen, though, which turns an already complicated situation into a complete mess.
Here, tell me what's wrong with it.
It's plastic.
Yeah, that's what he was displaying. And he's armed and everything.
Have we taken his firearm or anything off of him?
Not yet. See, this is who he works for, which is, he's in the military.
Yeah, but the screen printed.
He's in the military. The guy who owns his company is his commanding officer, some sergeant, first sergeant, it sounds like. All right. And they got hired through this company here, area-wide protection. So he's over there with his boss, who is a military officer. All these people are related to the military that work for this off-duty.
It's a very strange operation, but somehow it is technically legal. But what isn't legal is this man carrying a firearm around, pretending to be a police officer. After they get the chance to all fully understand what's going on, they approach the man once again so they can discuss everything with him. This is when he finally reveals the truth.
But you have no ID from them, all right?
No.
And have you ever been sworn in by them?
I've talked to the chief.
No.
So
I'm asking you a direct question. Have you been sworn in by
It's
them?
very important you answer this correctly, because being a former police officer or someday a current police officer, you know if you lie in this situation, you go directly to jail.
No, I'm not.
So I'm going to put that right
listen,
out.
I'm not.
So if you are telling me you are a police officer right now, is that what you're telling me? So you are not a commissioned police officer.
I have spoke with the chief.
That's not what I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm asking you one question. Are you a commissioned police officer through the state of Ohio?
I have an OPUDA certificate.
That's not what I'm asking.
That's not what I'm asking you.
I'm explaining to you.
No, you're not. You're not answering the question. You're avoiding the question. It's very simple. Are you a sworn police officer anywhere in the state of Ohio with any department?
Not currently.
Okay. That's
not
the question.
I'm unsure. I'm unsure.
He seems to be trying to dodge a lot of these questions, but the officers know that they must remain on track and adamant. But after talking to his supervisor and confirming that he's not a real police officer, they're able to proceed forward without having to deal with these lies, which the perpetrator is not happy about at all.
Please do not ruin my career. Please.
I think you did that kind of on your own, Casey.
Please.
All right. The Pickaway County, you knew you didn't work for Pickaway County. You displayed that badge. All right. You're out here acting in a law enforcement capacity, displaying a badge that you have no right to have, or a facsimile of a badge. That's not even a real badge. You were aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not real.
Okay. So, all right, you're going to be charged.
Oh, seriously?
I'm serious, okay? Now, we're going to be nice about this, okay? And we're going to take you over, and you can take your gun belt off, and you can set it on the hood of that car, okay? And we're going to take you in. We don't have to handcuff you. This officer is going to pat you down, all right? And we'll let you out, all right, on a summons, all right?
With their straightforward approach, the officers are able to convince him to come with them willingly. But as they prepare to take him in, they find something shocking in the trunk of his car.
Oh my God.
It says, now you got a rifle.
All right. And it's loaded, right? Okay, we're not gonna, yeah.
With this new addition to the situation, everything changes. While they were planning on taking it easy on him and only charging him with impersonating a police officer, the addition of the loaded rifle in his trunk completely complicates things. Shockingly, after the young man was taken into the station, it was revealed that he didn't work for the Cleveland Watchmen. Apparently, he was working with another unnamed company that partnered with the Cleveland Watchmen. Though the Watchmen were unaware of what the man was doing with the car and firearms, he was charged with impersonating an officer or private policeman and improper handling of a gun in a motor vehicle. While the man was young, being 26 years old during the time of his arrest, this next perpetrator was barely even old enough to drive. 19-year-old Jackson Jones was caught impersonating a police officer and pulling people over earlier this year.
Do you have any weapons in the car or anything like that? Like a gun or anything like that?
I don't even have a gun. Okay. I'm 19 years old. I ain't gonna have if this is gonna cause problems, if the truck's over there, I'm just gonna take off the vest, and I'm from Tennessee. So why are you wearing the vest? Well, like I said, I drove from all the way from Tennessee, but I'm not gonna have people call me when I don't even live in this damn state. Okay. It's gonna piss me off. You're a deputy sheriff? Well, I mean, I work at the sheriff's office. Okay. So, I mean, what? Were you a corrections officer for the sheriff's office? Okay. Why do you wear a vest outside of the facility? Is this an agency vehicle, or is this your personal vehicle? This is my Kia. Okay.
Considering Jones's flustered and agitated state, it seems that the officers know what's going on here, though they're taking it easy on him and trying to get the truth from him. He's adamant that he works at a sheriff's station in Tennessee, but the officers aren't concerned about whether or not he works for the sheriff in his hometown. They're more concerned about the fact that he's not acting as an officer right now, and yet he still has the word sheriff on his police vest. But that's just the first of their concerns.
So did you get out of your car or something here in the parking lot? Okay, I got out of the car. There was a truck that he looked at me. That's all I did. I never said anything like law enforcement wise or nothing. He looked at me and he was laughing. So I just like go to his car and I was like, did you need me or something like that? That's it. And I just like walked away. Okay. I mean, I don't. That's all I did, man. I'm being serious. So you were just in the driveway and he was just looking at you? I got out of my car, go inside. Oh, okay. He looked at me, and then I just went up to his car. I was like, he just said, I was just looking at you, man. So I was just looking at the car. That was it. Okay. You can watch the videotape when we're done. Just all kinds of red flags, man. I would not drive from Tennessee with a vest carrier on. No. Or even a duty belt on. As soon as I get off, I take that shit off. Yeah, I'm tired of being in it. I hate driving from Topgolf to my house with this shit on.
After they place him in the back of a police car, they're able to check out his vehicle. Immediately, the open and empty bottles of alcohol stand out to the officers. When you put that together with him wearing the vest and approaching the truck driver earlier on, it doesn't seem to bode well for Jones. This is especially true when they're able to talk to the truck driver that Jones approached earlier, who claims that Jones tailed him all the way to this gas station and then confronted him, where he made an outrageous claim.
He goes, I'm a undercover cop for Wellston, and I run with the highway patrolman out of Wellston. Okay. And I said, so just be curious, you're pretty young. How old are you? He goes, I'm 22 years old. Just turned 22. I was like, I'm pretty young to be a cop, be an investigator. Right.
With all of this evidence stacked against Jones, the officers are now able to place him under arrest. It doesn't make much sense for an undercover cop to reveal that they're undercover to some random stranger who gave them a weird look. Clearly, Jones didn't think this through entirely.
Turn around and face the other way. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for impersonating law enforcement, alright? And then you also have a charge for transporting an open container. My girlfriend could pick him up home. Not at this time. You know how long I'm going to be in jail because I'm from Tennessee? Okay. Well, your mom lives here, so I know that. I'm not too worried about that. Well, I mean... Alright, go ahead and step on out. I'm going to double check, make sure you don't have anything in your pockets or nothing. Good. I'm glad you came over here and told us, because that sealed the deal, because we were going to let him go. Oh, shit. Because prior to that, we didn't have any, like, solid stuff on them. But thank you for coming back over here.
If it weren't for this witness, Jones would have been able to continue his attempts at impersonating law enforcement. They need the witness to fill out a witness statement form so that the police have a binding statement explaining what Jones did from a credible source. Once they've searched Jones's car, they're ready to take him to the detention center. When they tell him that they're doing this, the reality of the situation suddenly dawns on him.
It's our detention center, it's our jail. I mean, it's pretty good size, yeah. A lot of people that go to prison say it's the worst place to be. Yeah. It's not a good place.
I worked in the jail, but it was a county, but it was small.
Yeah, our county jail sucks.
It was small.
Oh, this one's big, a lot of people in it.
I had 6 cells. Like 6, like that.
Oh, we have 200 cells on the floor, and we've got 13 floors.
So I'll have like a cell by myself?
Probably not.
Jones was later charged with impersonating an officer and transporting an open container. What happened to him afterwards is unknown. While all of these cases are almost entirely different from each other, they all share one universal fact. The only individuals that should ever be wearing a police officer uniform or saying that they are a police officer are the people who have the badge and credentials to back those claims up.
This is Sarah Grains, who crashed her car at a traffic stop while she was high and drowsy. This accident had consequences, and she is not ready for them.
Your foot?
You take any medication yourself?
I am cutting you a major deal today. And you got a baby in the car. You gotta go home for your kids.
In February 2023, Sarah picked up her kids from school, and it was all going according to routine until she crashed into a car that was stopped at a red light. This totally wrecked both vehicles, and they had to be towed out of the highway. When cops arrived at the scene, they found Sarah in a hyper-emotional state.
You okay?
My son's cup.
What happened?
My son's cup. It rolled over and it went underneath my
Your foot?
Yeah, and
you need to be seen by somebody? Are you injured?
No, I mean it looks gnarly. But I'm sorry?
Do you need a EMS?
No, it looks gnarly. But I work in the medical field. No, I'll be able, it'll be okay.
Okay. Alright. Give me 1 second, okay?
Sarah can be seen shaking, which can be a result of the adrenaline spike from the recent crash. Seeing this, the officer offers her EMS, which stands for Emergency Medical Services, but she assures him that it is not needed. As for the explanation, Sarah says that her kid's cup went under her foot and disturbed the pedals, and that caused the accident. The officer takes notice of this and then moves towards the victim, who is not very pleased with the way it all went down.
We got an ambulance on the way, okay?
I just want to go home.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about what happened.
It rolled underneath the brake, and I went to push it down, and I couldn't. I was trying to stop, and I couldn't.
So it rolled under the brake? I'm gonna need you to talk to me. So did it roll up under the brake or the accelerator or something like that?
Her speech is clearly disoriented and she is having trouble answering normally. At this moment, the officers do not suspect anything. They are just worried about the safety of everyone.
Make sure that you're okay and that he's okay, alright?
Oh, he's perfect.
So we just want to that's our first priority, is to make sure everyone's okay.
He's my first priority. And he's okay. He's a little bit like, what's going on right now?
Sarah is suspiciously completely opposing the idea of medical testing. It's as if there is something in her system that she is trying to hide from the officers, which will be revealed shortly.
So we can get it open. If you could, just try to pull over here to this, see if you can get it over there for me. Just in the grass right here, and then we'll try to get a tow truck out to you. Huh?
She literally not. This is where I landed. She comes straight up through here.
Oh no, yeah, we can see the fluid from. Yeah, you can see it. Oh yeah.
And I don't have any money. I don't have a tow truck. Is this drivable? I live.
It's definitely not drivable.
I live just right there.
I don't think you'd make it 10 more feet without something else falling off. It's leaking fluids. We're gonna have to get a tow, okay?
I can't afford it.
Well, we're gonna call a tow company for you.
I can't afford
But
it.
I have no choice. I have to tow it. It might be cheaper if you want to call your own company to come move it for you, but it's got to be moved, and it can't be driven.
Do you have a tow truck company of your choice, or
No.
you don't? We can call one for you. We just always ask first.
I just like it towed home if I get it towed home.
If you get it towed home, that's gonna be at your request.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's fine. I'm pretty sure insurance company will cover it, but do you have?
I know it's an inconvenience, but that's got to be what happens, you know. So the accidents happen. That's why I call them accidents, you know.
It's absolutely positively not drivable whatsoever.
We have the power to deem a vehicle not drivable.
I can't hear very
So we have the power to deem a vehicle not drivable, and both of these cars are not drivable right now.
It's futile to argue. You cannot convince the officers when the truth is so sparklingly obvious. Both cars are leaking fluids, and if they are operated now, then it can cause damage to the engines, which can be really dangerous. Now that it's official that both vehicles will be towed, the cops turn their attention to Sarah's medical condition.
Do you have any medical conditions?
I have lupus.
One more time for me.
I have lupus and epilepsy.
Lupus and epilepsy?
Alright.
Get my children.
I don't know if that's gonna happen right now. It's gonna be up to Sarge. Just sit right here for me, okay?
Why can't I go home?
I don't know. We got to tow your car because you're not gonna be able to drive that.
But I was on the phone with my mom and she said she could pick me up.
Okay, well, just give him a second. I don't know what he told you to trying to figure out what's going on, but just have a seat for me for right now because you're kind of swaying.
Sarah admits taking Seroquel as a regular medicine, which is a drug usually used to combat mental health diseases, and insomnia as it regulates an individual's mood, behaviors, and thoughts. But along with that, it induces drowsiness, which very well can be the case here.
Okay.
Say that again because I didn't. I'm hard to hear.
It's right here on there.
Okay.
See, look. You see what it says? Driver to exercise due care. You see that? All right. So I put it down here. I'm charging you with 40-6. That's
I wasn't on
$241.
my phone.
But you reached down to grab the cup, and you admitted it that you reached down to grab the cup.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah. What does it have to do with the phone?
That's a part of the code section. But you reached down into grab the cup. Okay.
No. What happened was the cup rolled under. It got underneath the brake. I went to push it down. It didn't work. And at that point, I kicked it so I could.
So you wasn't paying attention to the road, because if that was going on, you would have been looking at where you were traveling. You see what I'm saying? You had to be looking down at the cup trying to kick it. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
But hey, if you want to fight it in court, you can, which you'll have a court date of May the 6th.
I just didn't understand what you were saying.
So now if you don't want to go to court and you want to take care of it before court, you can, right? This is where you can take care of it before court. Alright? That's the way you take care of it, alright?
Okay.
So,
Now, this is not saying you're guilty. It's just saying that you received it. Okay. If you could sign right here by the expert.
The officers charge her for not obeying due care traffic rules, which is the legal responsibility of a driver, to consider potential hazards while driving. For failing to abide by the rules, she receives a fine and does not even protest against it because she knows it could have been much worse. However, the officers are not done yet. They go over all the details one more time and decide to finally add some additional charges.
Based off what you told me you have taken this morning, you could go to jail, okay? But I'm allowing you to go home with your mom, Alright, I'm allowing you to go home with your mom, okay? Alright, now, with this, I do have to cite you based off of what you told me, okay? A citation. So I'm sorry, DUI, drugs, less safe. Alright? Now this has a mandatory court date, right? Admitted, I've been in remarks, admitted to taking Soma and Klonopin, okay?
Even though they're my prescription?
You still cannot take those drugs and operate a vehicle. That's dangerous.
Okay. I'm not.
I know you're not. I'm just saying that's just dangerous. Okay. And you got a baby in the car. You can't. You got to go home for your kids. You know. And you
Her prescribed medicines, Soma and Klonopin, are proven to cause side effects like dizziness, confusion, and difficulty concentrating, so it's understood that one should not opt to drive under these effects. Fortunately for her, the cops do not arrest her this time. Sarah still faces charges of DUI, reckless driving, and drug less safe, and as her car gets towed, her mom comes and picks her up from the scene.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.